Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. I feel like with makeup and most holidays, I drop the ball on almost everything. Like, I think I put up one Halloween video, didn't do Valentine's Day. I'm really bad with keeping up with makeup tutorials for holidays, but for this tutorial, I really wanted to do a green and gold St. Patrick's Day inspired look. And this tutorial is not going to be palette specific. I'm going to be probably using a couple different colors from a couple different palettes just to make this look come together. And I've decided that my posting day for the week is going to be on Fridays just to eliminate any kind of like confusion or questions about what days I'll be posting and what days I won't be. And I'm already completely keeping my fingers crossed that I don't get this up on Saturday, but that actually might happen. And if so, that's going to be embarrassing. And I don't really have a whole lot to chit chat about today, so I'm going to go ahead and do my brows off camera and I will be right back. So while I was doing my brows, I went ahead and primed, so that is out of the way. For foundation, I'm going to be using my Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation. And this is absolutely one of my favorite foundations. Like, this is a foundation that I will probably always have on hand. I've been trying to not buy foundation as much recently, but this is one that I just always have to have. Between this and the It Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC Cream, it doesn't make my skin look dry and it doesn't look weird throughout the day. I feel like with foundations, especially with my dry skin, I have a hard time finding a foundation that doesn't make my skin look really dry and cakey midway through the day. And I'm the kind of person who loves to try out new foundations, but this is one just in case a foundation that I get on a whim doesn't work out that I can fall back on and it works. And for my under eye concealer, I'm going to use a little bit of a mix, and I'm going to use the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealers in light neutral and medium light. And kind of like the last video, I'm just dotting this on and kind of mixing the two together. I just want them to blend together, and the light neutral is a little bit too light of a concealer for me. And when I mix in the medium light, it just makes it look more like my skin tone and not a super bright, out of place kind of highlight concealer. And with the same beauty blender that I applied my foundation with, I am just going to blend that all out. This is another concealer I can't give up. I think the only other concealer that I've used in my under eye area recently is the Maybelline Fit Me concealer. I've been using the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealers for probably going on 2 years now, and I just haven't really ventured away from it because it works so well for me. And for under eye powder, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder in Fair Light. In a recent video, I think like 2 videos ago, I used this powder, but I used the shade Light. And while I would more than likely be the shade Light, that one just leaned way too peach for my skin tone, and it made my under eyes look really funky and dark. But otherwise, this is a really nice, affordable powder. I really like this one. So for my first shade, I'm going to take Acidberry from Sugarpill, and this is going right in my crease as a transition shade. This is a super natural, everyday, wearable color, you know? I'm just working this around and into my crease. I totally know that I praised Sugarpill before, but their colorful eyeshadows are some of my absolute favorites. You honestly really cannot go wrong with their single shadows. They also have really nice loose pigments too. I'm not too much of a loose pigment person, but I love theirs. I've been trying to make my eye looks a little bit more rounded lately, so that is what I'm trying to do. If it's going to end up that way, I'm not quite sure, but that's the goal. And the next shade that I'm going to be using is this one right here called Midori. And I am just putting that deeper into my crease. And I'm going to go back in a minute and blend a little bit more Acidberry into this darker green. I'm going to bring that all the way across. And I'm also going to pack some of that into my outer corner area as well. Aside from the lack of fallout and how vibrant Sugarpill shadows are, I also like that they're not patchy. And with that first brush, I'm going back in with a little more Acidberry and just blending that over top where I put down Midori. This is a Makeup Shack T87 brush, and just super soft, and it's really nice for blending out where you think it's a little bit harsh. I'm going to kind of bring this up a little bit higher on the outside of my crease as well, just to give my eye a little bit more shape. And with an even smaller brush, I'm packing on just a little bit more Midori and blending that into the lower part of my crease. And to start deepening this up, I'm going to take the Kylie Cosmetics Eye of the Storm palette, and I'm taking this shade right here called Whirlwind. And with a small pencil brush, I'm just going to start defining that outer corner area to deepen up. I used this palette the other night, and to be perfectly honest, I really like it. Like, it's not a bad palette. I just feel like on its own, there's not really a whole lot you can do with just that palette. Like, it's okay, I like the shades in it. I like the color choices, but like I wish there was more, if that makes sense. I like the shimmery shades in it, but as far as the matte selection goes, I just don't feel like there's enough to make enough looks with the mattes. And I'm not flicking out this dark color. I'm just keeping this right on the outer corner of my lid and just blending it into that Midori. And one more time, going back in with Midori, I'm just blending on top of that just to bring back some of that green. And the green ate all that dark color. Okay. I am actually going to take this little dense brush, and this came in an Urban Decay palette, and I'm just going to pack that on the outer corner of my lid. I'll work on blending that out in a second. And real carefully, I'm taking this small brush with no extra color on it and just going really gently on top of that, because this shade likes to get picked up and moved around. For my lid, I'm taking a little dab of concealer and putting it on the inside part of my eye. And I'm blending that out on top of my lid and keeping it on the inner part of my eye and kind of bringing it a little bit up in my crease, but not too far. This is just going to create a nice sticky base for the color I'm going to put down next. And for a pop of gold, I'm going to take this gold pigment from McGrath, and I'm putting that right where I put that concealer down. This gold alone makes me want to buy her palettes. Like, this is the prettiest gold shade I've ever used in my life. The problem with this gold is that I love it so much that I want to invest in her palettes, but her palettes are like $100-something a pop, and there is no way on God's green earth that I can afford to spend $100-something on one palette alone. Like, that is insane. She just came out with those mini palettes though, so I'm thinking about forking over a little bit for that, but I don't know. If the quality is anything like this shadow, then I might have to do it. I'm going back into the Kylie palette and taking this shade right here called Cyclone. And I'm actually going to take this on a Makeup Shack T69 glitter brush. My friend Tess showed me this, and this is like my new favorite way to apply formulas like this. There are some shimmer shades that make it kind of hard to apply with a brush, but this picks it up really nicely and lays it down without getting a whole ton of fallout everywhere. The silicone tip of this brush just picks up that kind of pigment really effortlessly and lets you put it down where you want it, which is super nice. I'm getting a little bit of fallout with this, but not a ton of fallout. And it also gives me a little bit extra control with blending the colors together, where with my finger, I feel like I'm just putting one color on top of the other and not having a ton of blending control. Now I'm going to take this really pretty shimmery black color called Stargaze, and I am going to put this right on the outer part of my eye. So I want to deepen up my outer corner. I'm putting this over where I put down that blackish brown color earlier, just because that color did not do a whole lot for me, and I really want my outer corner to be nice and dark. And I'm just going to go back in one final time with Midori and just go right over that black color to bring back that green. Just real quick, I'm taking a teeny tiny bit of Cyclone and just popping that back on because I feel like I covered a little bit of that up with the black. I really like the way that this blends into that gold. And to start my lower lash line, I am taking this black gel liner from Maybelline, and I'm running that along my waterline and into my lower lash line. I'm going to take that almost all the way across, but not all the way across. And this sets pretty quickly, so I want to get in there before it sets. I'm going to use some of that Cyclone shade from the Kylie palette and blend it into that black liner. And I'm going to blend that all the way to where the black liner stops. And going in with Midori, I'm going to blend that into that black to start blowing it out a little bit. And I'm going to take this one all the way across. And lastly, I'm going to take some of that Acidberry and just blow that out even more. And for my inner corner highlight, I'm going to take this shade right here called Sweet Storm and just putting that right into my inner corner. This is a really, really pretty yellowish highlighter shade. Alright guys, I'm going to pop on some lashes and finish my other eye real quick, and I will be right back. So moving on to my highlight, I'm going to use one of these new Maybelline Master Holographic Prismatic Highlighters. And there's this highlighter, and there's also one that kind of is more of a peachy toned highlight. I'm going to use this one, and this has more of a pink shift to it. And I'm just going to apply that to the high points of my face with an Anastasia A23 highlighter brush. I'm honestly not sure how I'm feeling about this highlighter because it is pretty, like it's a pretty color. but it's really, really chunky and glittery, and when I put it down on my skin, it kind of flakes off and goes everywhere. On my skin, it looks really nice, but applying it, it makes a mess. I can see chunks of the highlight in my eyeshadow, which is no good. And real quick, before I forget, I'm putting some concealer around my nose and on my chin, and also a little bit on my forehead where I didn't put down any powder. And with my beauty blender from earlier, I am just blending that out. And with my beauty blender, I'm just pressing some powder into all of those places I just put concealer. So this kind of face routine is the kind of routine that I would do if I'm going out like in an evening where I want a more matte look and not a daytime dewy look. But I'm thinking about doing an everyday kind of makeup look that I would generally wear. If you're wanting that kind of video, let me know down below and I will jump on that ASAP. And for my bronzer, I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Rosewood bronzer. This is absolutely a current favorite bronzer right now. And I'm putting a little bit of that along my jawline. And I'm kind of feeling a more glowy blush today, so I'm going to use the Benefit Galifornia blush. I really like this blush because it gives you a nice flush and glow without being too much. And we all know that I can go a little too hard with the blush, so I appreciate a nice buildable blush. And because I have green eyes going on right now, I want to make my lip a little bit more toned down, so I'm going to be using this Nars liquid lipstick, and the name of the liquid lipstick is in French, and again, I'm not going to try to pronounce anything French, so I'm going to leave the name of this down below. I just said this is a liquid lipstick, and this is absolutely not. This is definitely more of a gloss. Alright everybody, this is the finished look. So I was going to try to use a couple of more new things in this video, but didn't really get around to doing that. However, I did try out the Kylie Cosmetics Eye of the Storm palette. I used this in a look the other day, but just a couple colors out of it and not really the darker shades. This yellowish metallic shade is probably my favorite shade in the palette just because it is a really nice highlighter shade. However, I do think I could live without this palette. When I tried to blend the darker shades out with the green, they kind of blended away these shades. They were more on the chalky side, not my favorite, and I feel like there are a lot more shades like it for less money. I don't dislike Kylie stuff, this just wasn't a winner of a palette for me. And this is the first time I'm trying this Nars lip gloss out, and it's really comfortable on the lips and it does look a little bit streaky. And real quick, because Instagram sucks lately, I feel like I kind of have to do a little bit of a shameless plug. But I'm gonna go ahead and tag all my social media below, so if you want to be friends, that's where you can find me. I'm thinking for my next video of doing a chattier, get ready with me kind of video, because I feel like I haven't been super talkative in the last couple videos. And if you want to leave some questions for me about myself or about anything so I can talk about them in my nice chatty video, you can leave those down below. And if you like this video and you want to like and subscribe, that would be awesome. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all later.